Good evening. Thanks for tuning in to Flab Fabulous 18. If you have not yet done so, please subscribe to my channel. I am going to talk about tonight really quick to show you how I make one of my favorite prep meals. And I haven't done this in a long time, and I'm starting to get really hungry for it. So this is something that is a staple for me. I used to do it all the time. It lasts in the fridge all week to do for lunches or dinners or whatever. And there's a variety of ways that you can do this. So to start, I have a whole spaghetti squash, okay, and I've already cooked this. And how I cooked this was I took the spaghetti squash and I put it in the oven at 350 degrees and let that roast for about an hour, okay, and then I let it sit in there to cool. Now it's still really warm and hot inside, and I can barely hold on to this, but it's been sitting for a while in the oven. So this is something that you can put in the oven while you are, whatever, when you're doing like laundry on a Sunday or whatever. This is an easy prep because this is really the only thing you have to cook. Okay, so you put this in the oven and let it roast for about an hour. You can cook this in the microwave, and I'm not sure on the specifics of that because I've never done it, but I know people do cook it in the microwave, and I don't know if you have to poke holes in it or what, but there is a quick way to do it in the oven. I mean, the microwave oven and the crock pot too, but that's gonna take all day. So anyway, when you have your spaghetti squash cooked, you're just gonna cut it in half. When I first started making spaghetti squash, I cut it in half before I roasted it. And spaghetti squash is very hard to cut in half before it's cooked. Just saying. So some things you learn as you go. So take my advice, don't cut it before you cook it. So you just want to cut it in half, okay? And the center of a spaghetti squash has a lot of seeds, okay? So we're going to take those seeds out. I have this little thing that I got from like Pampered Chef or whatever, but you can just use a spoon. You just want to scrape out the middle. There's a little bit, like the whole spaghetti squash is stringy, but there is a different kind of stringy in the middle with the seeds. It's like a thinner, goopier string. You just want to get all that out, okay? Now, some people think that they're gonna make a spaghetti squash and they've never had it before, and they're gonna make it and it's gonna be just like having spaghetti, but it's squash. No, okay? Yes, you can use it the same way, but don't think that you're gonna bite into this and it's gonna taste just like spaghetti, because it doesn't. It tastes just like spaghetti squash, okay? And it's good, I love it, but it does not taste like a noodle. So if that's what your expectation is, you're gonna be disappointed. If your expectation is it's a new way for you to eat spaghetti squash, then you're gonna be good. Okay, so you wanna take a fork and just break it up and just shred it in there. You can see it's already stringy, okay? So you just have to pull it apart. This is actually a really big squash I got. So this is gonna make a heck of a lot. And I only have 5 containers out, so because I'm gonna individualize these. That way there's no thinking, no measuring, no portioning out during the week. I can just grab my container and heat it up. So I think what I'm gonna end up doing is making a bigger container for my husband to use. Measure his, like serve his throughout the week, since he doesn't really worry as much about portion control. Now, if you are counting calories, counting carbs, logging your food, whatever, you want to measure this out, even though spaghetti squash. If you're tracking your food, you track everything, not just bad things. So I would do this. I should probably, I don't know, I'm just gonna do like a half cup, which I don't know where my half cup measuring cup is, so we'll just do the 1 cup at half and put them into the container. To me, this is better as a leftover than fresh. If I make this for same day, I don't like it as much. I like it to, because we're gonna add spaghetti sauce, I like it to sit with the spaghetti sauce a little bit long. I don't know what it does, but I think it tastes better if you let it sit in the fridge. So I'm doing about half cup servings. Which is making about 5 containers worth, which is perfect for lunches this week. And that took about half of the spaghetti squash. Like I said, this was a big one. So I still have this whole other half left that I'll do with that later. The same thing. So now the next thing I'm going to do is, now you could do ground turkey, ground hamburger. If you wanted to do like a meat sauce, I just have a regular jar of spaghetti sauce. Okay, so you could do, I have done the ground turkey meat sauce with spaghetti sauce, but I got these, which are chicken sausages, Asiago and spinach. They are 130 calories for one link. There's 4 links. 8 grams of fat, 2 grams of carbs, 12 grams of protein. Okay, now I don't think I can eat a whole sausage and a half a cup of spaghetti squash, so I am just going to do them in halves. And these are pre-cooked, these chicken sausages. There's another brand that's really good, Al Fresco, something like that. I can't find them at my grocery store anymore, but they have a really good one. It's like garlic and feta, or garlic and spinach and feta. I forget what it is, but it's really good. I'm pretty sure it says on here that these are fully cooked. I just want to confirm that. But yeah, here. Fully cooked. So these will heat up in the microwave when I heat this up for lunch. So I'm going to use 1 sausage and cut that in half, and then just slice that up. And then I'm going to cut them so they're in little half discs, because that'll give me more bites and I'll eat slower. So that's a good trick to do if you need to slow down when you eat, which I do. I eat too fast, which they say if you eat too fast, your stomach doesn't have time to signal to your brain that you're full. Plus, being a VSG patient, they really encourage that, so you don't want to eat too much, because it does not feel good. So I think this is a little too much, but a half a cup of spaghetti squash and a half a link of chicken sausage. Okay, so I'm going to put that in each one. And like I said, this chicken sausage is pre-cooked, so tomorrow or Wednesday or Friday, whenever I heat this up, it'll get heated up in the microwave. Okay, so I will do that to all 5 of these. Okay, and then I'm going to take my spaghetti sauce, and you can use, if this is too high of carbs for you, you can find a different kind to use. I just use regular Prego, nothing fancy. Serving size is half a cup. So I'm going to start with 1/4 of a cup, because I think half a cup of spaghetti squash is going to be too much. So do a 1/4 cup. Yeah, that's perfect. And I just put that on top, because I'm going to mix it all together when I heat it up. Okay, so half a cup of spaghetti squash, 1/4 cup of spaghetti sauce, and half a link of chicken sausage. Now, if you're not a bariatric patient and you have a little bit more room, I would eat the whole link. When I used to do this before surgery, I would always use 1 link of chicken sausage to 1 container. I would do 1 cup of spaghetti squash with 1 link of sausage. But since I have such a restriction now, I'm gonna do half a cup of spaghetti squash and half a link of sausage, and I still think this might be a bit too much, but it's super simple. The only thing I cooked was the spaghetti. I said spaghetti. The spaghetti squash. That's the only thing I cooked, and that all you have to do is put it in the oven and roast it. Okay, you don't have to tend to it. You can do laundry, you can cook dinner, you can do whatever you want to do while that's in the oven. Just set your timer for like an hour and 15 minutes, and let it sit and cool. It can sit all night till you're ready. Cut it open, take out the seeds. Don't be intimidated, but the flavor of this is so mild. It really takes on the flavor of the spaghetti sauce or whatever you mix it with. There's other recipes that I do with this. Someday I'll show you where I've mixed this with in a casserole dish with ricotta and spaghetti squash and ground turkey and made almost like a ziti bake sort of thing. I have done a Santa Fe style where I also made it in a casserole but used like black beans and rotel and chilies and different cheeses like that. So it's very versatile. It can go into a lot of things. It does not taste like a noodle, okay? Get that out of your brain. It's not gonna taste like a noodle, but it's soft but with a little bit of crunch to it. It holds up well all week. It absorbs the flavor of what you're mixing it with. It's not like, oh, I really taste spaghetti squash. It's so mild, you don't even taste it. So good. So this is a good carb, healthy, low-cal lunch, and it's easy. Okay, tomorrow I'm just gonna nuke this in the microwave for like a minute and a half, 2 minutes. If I have some Parmesan cheese, I'll top it off. Perfect lunch. So easy. All you have to cook is the spaghetti squash, and then you just mix it with whatever you want to mix it with. Super easy. So thanks for tuning in. Give me a thumbs up. Make sure you subscribe, share with your friends. Let me know if you have any questions or ideas or topics that you'd like me to talk about, and I'll talk to you later.